Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. Today, we have the beautiful and talented Amanda Page Cornett of the Almost Angels with us. How are you doing?
What? I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. It's been a while. I know it's been a minute for
It
us
has
because we haven't
been.
talked lately, but yeah, it's great to
It
catch
has
up.
been great to be back. So,
And as I've said before, you're welcome back anytime. And I really meant that. Like, if you want to come back every other month or something, you're more than welcome. You can
awesome.
just be like, hey, I
Hey,
want to come on
I'm
and say hi.
I'm cool with that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, for our first time listeners here, or people that may have not caught the show before, would you answer the hardest question ever? Who is Amanda Page Cornett?
Oh gosh, she's so many things. I'm a Southern rock and solar. I live in Nashville, but I'm from South Carolina via Florida. I went to school in Florida. Go Gators.
Go
I know
Gators.
some people don't like to say it, but I do. So
Hey, if you live in Florida like I do, it's one or the other. You know, it's either Gators or the alternative. So we just Gators.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Hey. So, but I've been writing music, playing, singing my whole entire life. I started writing songs when I was 9. I was making them up probably before I could talk, and I finally turned it into a skill and moved to Nashville after college, and been here since then. Put out a first album not too long ago, and we're getting ready to work on a new one. So we'd like to call it Southern Rock and Soul. It's a mix of Southern rock, country, blues. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's just your style. You're just that mix of those
It is.
things. Like it's not like one or the other. It's kind of just like mixed together, especially if anyone has
Yeah,
heard your
it
music. It's
is.
beautiful.
That's why I call it Southern rock and soul, because it's not like we're trying to be one thing or the other. It just is. It's where we've landed.
Perfect. It's perfect. So, and I know this will air at a later date, but we're going to talk about one of your most recent singles, which is Six String Showdown. So tell
Yeah.
me a little about where the writing came from of that. I can kind of guess, but from your perspective, tell us.
Okay, so I was actually listening to Southern rock radio of some sort, probably on Spotify, and George Thorogood came on. What is it? One whiskey, one shot, one beer. I might have that backwards, but yeah, that song came on and it was like sparked this idea in my head, and I was like, hmm. So I reached out to my guitar teacher, who's one of my good friends, Dave Isaacs, and my guitar player and co-producer, Randall Scott Peterson, who's also an insane guitar player, and said, hey guys, you want to write a dueling guitar song? I'll help with the lyrics. The music's on the two of you. And so that's what we did. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So we wrote Six String Showdown. I'd like to call it my future classic rock song. And it was a lot of fun. Anybody that's a guitar nerd will hear lots of guitar nerd references in there, some of which they had to teach me because I didn't know them all. But it was a lot of fun to write, a lot of fun. It's so much fun to sing and play. And really happy to have those two guys on the album and on that song. So
Yeah, definitely an awesome song. And I got a couple of the guitar references, and I don't play music. So yeah, it's one of those where it's like, oh, I got
yep,
that one. Like I felt proud that
yep,
I got
yep.
it. So I'm sorry.
They were like talking, and I was like, huh?
Yes.
I was like, when y'all are ready to get back to when we could actually put the song, let me know. I'm just kidding.
Oh, someone did something like that the other day, and I don't even know what we were talking about. And I'm like, okay, can everyone stop speaking another language? And can we all speak the same language?
Right?
They were laughing at me. I'm like, no, I'm just totally don't understand what y'all are saying. At
Yep,
least dumb you
yep.
down
It's
for
all
those who may not be that level, you know?
right. Exactly, exactly. They understand, and they're like, we know what we're talking about. I'm like, cool.
Great. Just clue me in when I need to be, right?
Right?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's a great song. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I know that you'll have some new music coming out. So, do you want to tell us about the
Yeah.
newer single, Hearts on a String?
Yes, yes, the newest single would be Hearts on a String, and I wrote it with my buddy Mark Narmore, who I've written quite a few of my songs with. He's just he's my buddy. We're like silly twins when we're in the studio together. So I'm excited to be in the studio with him again soon. And he's written so many great songs. He's such a great lyricist and melody guy. And Hearts on a Strings is just a kind of fun tune talking about wearing the X's around your neck and like letting them go and breaking the chains off. So kind of says wearing the charms of each one as around, and then you kind of let go of them and say, see ya. So it's a lot of fun.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And obviously I'm a fan of yours, but I'm also a fan of his. I've been a huge fan of his for years. So love his writing
So good.
and lyric and
He's such a great
melodies.
singer too.
Mhm.
If people knew how great a singer he was, oh my gosh, such a great
Yes.
singer. So
Yeah. He just, and I don't know him personally, but I mean, he always seems like one of those guys that are like, yeah, I'm just good. I just want to write songs. I'm good. Like.
he is, and he's like he and I get together and we are the biggest goofs. My bass player Sherry Peterson Tunnel calls me and Mark twins. She's like, "Oh, is your twin gonna be there?" I'm like, "Yep," because we just get silly and I mean, that makes it fun. So we don't take life too seriously.
You can't. Life is too short. Enjoy
No,
it, right?
100%.
Oh. So I've also heard a little birdie told me, actually, I think it was you. There's a new album on the horizon for next
Sweet,
year.
sweet.
Yeah.
There
I'm
is.
super excited. Can you tell us anything about it or just that you're in progress?
Well, I can tell you it's going to have a great, like, rough background to get it done. So we were actually supposed to go into the studio in South Carolina with Murraytown Records and Highway One Records. And that was going to be the end of September, beginning of October, 2 days after Hurricane Helene hit the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida. And so we obviously had to reschedule and postpone everything. Sadly, like the studio didn't have power for 10 days. Thankfully, everybody I know was okay. But everybody in the Carolinas is still really reeling, and in Georgia, and in Florida from both hurricanes. So it was tragic, but not on my end. Like we can reschedule. And that's what it came down to. It's like I couldn't have even gotten there. I don't know when I'll be able to get to my parents' house without it taking me an extra 3 or 4 hours because 40 is shut down still. So please keep everybody still there in your prayers. I'm sure that it's going to take more than a year for that to get cleaned up. But then also, we ended up rescheduling. So we're going to be going down to Muscle Shoals, and we're going down very soon and recording a new album. Just logistically, it made sense to go there because it was easier to get to with everything, with all the cleanup going on. But we've got 6 new songs that we're recording and very excited about them. Very excited to get back to touring and getting out there and putting music out again.
Absolutely. It's exciting. I think anytime you start a new project and even just a new song, sometimes it just gets so exciting and you're just like, I'm going to send it out to the world. And then, it's that
Yes.
time where you're like, well, we have to record it. We have to do all this other stuff. And you're like, can't we just get it out there?
Yes, it's taken way too long to get back there, but I'm so excited. And I think we've really, between the label, my co-producer Randy and I, we've really whittled down to what we think are the best 6 songs to put out. So I can't wait to hear them.
That's awesome. And I think everything happens in the right time, whatever that is for
It
it.
does. It
Even
does.
with the
And
unexpected. Sorry.
absolutely. And, things you can't control, you can either get upset about it or you can just say, it happens and you got to move forward and go to the next step. And really, my recording was very, very small compared to everything everybody was going through in the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida. So, and I recognize that. So it's not about me.
Yeah, I know when Milton came, we were expecting it to be worse here. We planned for like Ian. We were out 14 days without electricity here.
Yep.
And because we got the brunt of the hit in the Northport area. So yeah, I was planning for, okay, let's plan for 14 days again, no electricity,
Yep.
get it set up. I got everything set up and I'm like, oh, only a couple of days. I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm so blessed. Like I got so
Right.
blessed. And then I could see it took all the other things that were happening everywhere else. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. But in the same time,
Yeah.
I felt
I
very
have friends
blessed.
in Georgia that didn't have power for 2 weeks and some that completely lost their homes. Which it's funny because people have been talking about Western North Carolina a lot, but There were a lot of
in
places in
Georgia.
South Carolina and Georgia too that were really ravished. So,
Right. Especially with the flooding and stuff, because people don't realize with that storm, the way it moves so slowly is it took so much rain with it and cause the flooding and a lot more
oh yeah.
catastrophe there.
And the linemen are like heroes, like as far as I'm concerned. They like get my number one. They should be the ones getting paid the big bucks because they are the ones that have saved everybody and through yellow jacket stings and all that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I appreciate them too.
yes.
So anyway, we're going to digress a little bit. So what else has been happening? Obviously, other than obviously new music. What else? What is your most memorable moment over this last year?
Oh gosh. Well, I took my dogs, one of my friends and I took my dogs down to the Tennessee-Alabama border, to Walls of Jericho State Park, which was really cool. We did 2.2 miles the first night, camped out, and then did 9.7 miles the next. First
Awesome.
time I've taken my dogs on that long a hike. And it was so much fun. But if you've never been there, I love getting out in nature, but it's such an incredible sight when you get to the Walls of Jericho part. It's almost like a cave that the top came off of, and it's massive. Like I couldn't even take pictures of the whole thing, even in a panoramic, but it was really cool. I love getting out in nature and being able to just kind of get away from the city and stuff. And you definitely did not have cell service or anything, but it was such a great time to get away. And I'm always about getting exercise, and it's inspiring too to just be out there in nature. So
Absolutely. That's actually a great suggestion. I know we go traveling, we end up being out in the west areas and stuff because I love Washington and the Northwest like that along the coast. It's cool. And I say, here we go. We are just talking about the weather before we started today, but it's cooler out there, like in the 60s and
yep.
70s in the middle of summer. And I love that weather. Kind of like now in Florida, it's kind of getting that cooler. But yeah, that's why we'd always go. But that's a great place. It sounds like to check out that's more local here.
Yeah, and it was about 60, 70 when we went too. It was kind of perfect because it was sunny. So it was warm enough that you could put your feet in the water, not for very long because the water was very cold. But yeah, it's there's a lot of really great hikes within a few hours of Nashville, which is really kind of nice.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to thank you for that recommendation. I'm going to check that out myself.
Yeah.
I know I haven't been there. I know there's a couple of other good hikes that I'll have to check out too, but that's one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on today, and we'll make sure that listeners and watchers the links will be below. Make sure you click them, go follow
Awesome.
Amanda, and
yes, please.
We'll have some new music coming out this year from her, so
yeah.
be sure to catch up on that. And if you have a chance to go catch her at a show live, do it.
Yes, please. We love and come say hi. People are sometimes afraid to come say hi, but we love for people to come say hi. So
and make sure you tag us if you've known that you've heard her here, say tag us too, because we'd love to know that you've been and checked her out. Yeah.
That's right.
Love it. Absolutely. Thank you, friends. We'll see you next time for 20 Crazy Questions. Make sure you catch that episode. Coming soon. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.